Monday morning, it's a lot of reaction to the NFL. John, our good friend from Staten Island, Jets season ticket holder, by the way, also a big Mets fan, joins us here on Big Board Sports. Good morning there, Man Up Sports. How are you?
Good morning, Rodger. How are you, pal?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. I know you were frustrated. You were at MetLife. You watched the game, and John, here's where I'll start with you. You sack Andy Dalton 7 times. 7 times sack on Andy Dalton, and yet you still lose the game.
That's the New York Jet way, man. You don't know that by now.
I guess I'm starting to buy into it, to be honest with you, John.
I'm telling you, we got to be the only team in the NFL that does that and loses the game. I mean, how is that even possible? It's amazing. I mean, I just don't understand how the concept of leaving Darrelle Revis on green when he got burned the entire first 3 quarters, and why not switch him off with somebody? I mean, what is it, like beneath, Darrelle Revis to go to a second, maybe a third receiver? I mean, this point in his career. I mean, are you insulting him by doing that? I mean, he didn't help us yesterday. And you know what? Yeah, he had a good year last year, but, people were still thinking he wasn't tested. And when he was tested, he got burned.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's time for him to let a younger guy maybe take that number 1 receiver role.
Well, I'm reading my good friend Ralph Acciano, longtime beat writer for the Giants with the New York Daily News, is now working for SNY, and he covers both the Jets and the Giants. And I'm just cruising through his Jets blog this morning, and he writes, and because Darrelle Revis looked like an old Revis instead of the Revis of old. And he's probably not far-fetched on that.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely looked like he got slower. Listen, the guy's had a knee problem. He is getting a little older, in football terms, football years. So maybe it's time for him to move over to, covering the number 2 or the slot guy or something like a 3 receiver, because I noticed these faster guys, even like in, with Houston last year, with their guy over there, and Odell Beckham Jr., they kind of like out running their routes on him, and he doesn't look like the same guy. He's maybe a foot, a step or 2 away from them, and look what happened yesterday. That bomb down the field killed us.
Yeah, and the other thing that I mentioned to our producer Zach By, who's with me here in studio this morning, as always, that Nick Folk, he misses an extra point. And he misses a 22-yard field goal that was blocked. So, you lose by 1 point, John, and yet you can point to Nick Folk and go, that's really the GOAT of the day. If he makes an extra point, or you don't have a 22-yard field goal block, which is inexcusable, you'll win the game.
I agree on that, Rodger. You have to definitely Nick Folk. His resume speaks for itself. The guy's made tremendous field goals, especially for the Jets over the years. He kind of looked like the Nick Folk that came from Dallas when we first got him. Yesterday, the 22-yard field goal that he missed was inexcusable. Between that and the secondary yesterday killed us. You make that field goal, it's a different ball game. And when he missed that, and I looked at a couple of people, sitting behind me, and I said, this is going to hurt us at the end of the game. And there's always that one game out of the year, that one play out of the game that always finds a way to bite the Jets right in the backside. And it's just, at some point as a Jets fan, when do you say, when is this going to stop? You look at New England last night, everybody's saying, oh, I'm surprised they won. I'm not surprised. It's the system. You buy into the system, no matter what kind of player you are, it's going to work, and they buy into Belichick's theory. And obviously his theory's been working for the last 15 years that he's been down there, 16 years. So it doesn't matter who he has on the field. It was proven when Brady was out the last time, with, what's his name, Castle, the quarterback. And now, look, this kid comes in last night, throwing 30, 40-yard passes down the field, and they look like it was Tom Brady still on the field, so it doesn't matter who's quarterback, and it doesn't matter who's on the field. They just buy into it. They get rid of Chandler Jones, and the defense still looks good. It's just I just don't understand. Maybe it's just the way the concept of the thinking of the upper management with the Jets. There's always it always seems to be an issue and a problem every year with something. Last year it was the punter, so now we go out and get a kid who can punt. And now this year we're going to have an issue with Foles. He didn't look that good in preseason either. Maybe his injury's still bothering him. But, I don't have an answer for what happened yesterday. That was just disgusting, the way he kicked that ball.
Yeah, well, listen, I will say this. It's one game. I think the Bengals are good. I think the Bengals are going to have a good season. And I saw enough good things, in my opinion, from the Jets. 7 sacks on Dalton. Enough good things out of Fitzpatrick that this team, the Jets team, is still going to win their fair share of games this season.
I agree, Roger. They're going to be a very competitive team. They're going to be right up there in the top 2 spots in the AFC East. Like I said, their front 7 is going to be tremendous. And they didn't have Richardson yesterday either. I mean, imagine when he comes back. I mean, McClendon looked great yesterday because they're double teaming Wilkinson, and they were double teaming Williams at some point. Sometimes even triple teaming him, so that guy was coming free. Now when you got Richardson added to the line, their linebackers are tremendous. They got faster. I was just confused yesterday with the way how Todd Bowles was a secondary guy. He was a cornerback, when he played with the Redskins. I mean, how do you not know how to in-game adjust to what was going on in the field? He didn't do any adjustment in the second half with covering the receivers. I mean, Brandon LaFell, I don't think he's a top-notch receiver. They made him look like he was, Jerry Rice out there. I couldn't understand that. I mean, how do you not adjust? This is your thing. You're a secondary guy. When you first came in the league as a coach, you were a defensive backs coach on the Parcells in Dallas. How do you not fix that problem yesterday in the game? I mean, yeah, Bengals are good, Roger, but you lost to them by 1 at home, and you should have won that game. The fans were involved. I mean, it was 9-11. The crowd was there. Everybody was pumped up. And, overall, like I said, it was a good game. But it just sucks that, you're always on the other end of the stick with these guys.
John, I appreciate a few minutes all the way from Staten Island, Jets season ticket holder, big Mets fan perhaps sooner than later. Talk about this Mets team. I think they've got a legitimate shot to get to the playoffs. But thanks for a few minutes on the Monday show, John.
It's always a pleasure, Roger. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, John. John from Staten Island. You got it, man. Big Jets season ticket holder, and a lot of good points about the Jets. I think they're still a good team, though, to be honest with you, Zach. I really do. And we'll find out. They're going to Buffalo now, and 2 teams that start out 0-1, and who wants to be 0-2. All right.